Hello everyone, and welcome back to Think Outside the Board for the first crowdfunding roundup of February 2024. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the campaigns that launched between January the 31st and February the 6th, and I'm going to share with you what I think are the best campaigns that launched during that period. We'll go over those campaigns, we'll watch some of the intro videos together, we'll look at the pledges, and I'll talk a little bit about some of the creators and the games themselves. As always, my videos are tabbed or bookmarked, so you can just scroll over the play bar, find exactly the content you're looking for if you don't have time to watch the whole thing. And if any of these campaigns strike a chord for you, you can go down into the description section where there are links to all of these campaigns, so you can just click on the link and it will take you right to that campaign. All of the campaigns that we're looking at today are on Kickstarter. And if you're enjoying these videos and you want to help support the channel and help ensure that I'll be able to continue making this content, as well as more types of content like teach and review videos and live streams of games, the best way to support the channel is still to like and subscribe. Without any further ado, let's dive into the first of these 5 campaigns this week. This one is Knee Deep in Hexes, which launched on February the 5th and is set to run until, as we see down here, March the 6th. Now, currently they've got about $69,000 in funding. That's off of roughly an $11,000 funding goal, so that's about a 6.5 time multiplier. This is by a first-time designer and publisher. It's kind of a hex grid war game with miniatures and area control. It's trying to evoke the real-time strategy games of the 90s. It also probably should be mentioned that this is a 2-player head-to-head game. So this isn't a game that you're going to be playing with, a 1 to 4 player count. This is specifically designed for 2 players to play against each other. And it looks like the complexity is going to come somewhere in the medium range. Not sure if it's going to lean to the medium light or the medium heavy, but somewhere in that medium range. So there's a 1.5 minute video here from the publisher. We'll take a look at this, and then we'll go over the 2 pledges and a couple of add-ons.
Welcome back, Commander. Remember the epic battles you fought? How you conquered a whole galaxy on your own? Yeah, those were the days. Well, it may have looked more like this, and your command post was actually your parents' basement. But what if we told you that you could relive the glory of these days once again? But this time, it's a board game. Welcome to Knee Deep in Hexes. Hexes finally brings your favorite 90s strategy PC game to the gaming table, with few rules and set up in a flash. Choose your unique companions, build devastating decks, and prepare your battle plan. Gather resources and gather your troops. Try to destroy the enemy headquarters or as many valuable enemy units as possible. Sounds simple, right? But watch out. The enemy can always turn your move to their advantage, turning a surefire rush into a death trap. Immerse yourself in a universe of endless strategic possibilities. Integrate new factions, such as shady space marauders or sneaky desert mercenaries. It's time to take a side. Back now and get knee-deep in action.
Okay, now even though this is by a first-time designer, first-time publisher, I've seen these guys promoting this game and engaging with the community for quite a while now, like at least 6 months. And we're not just talking, targeted ads. We're talking the creators being present and communicative across a lot of social media. So it feels like they are very, much involved with this, very responsible. It gives me a better feeling than just some random first-time publisher and designer. It doesn't feel like a flash in the pan, It feels like they've been working on this, putting in the work for many months now, just with the community, in addition to all of the development and design work they've done. So I don't think that this is as risky as it might normally be with a first-time designer and publisher. I feel like these guys have already done a lot of the work leading up to this. So I have a lot of confidence in this, even though it's kind of being done by first-timers. So essentially there are two different pledges that we're going to concern ourselves with. That means we're not looking at this pledge manager pledge. The first real pledge here is this one. It's called Landing Party. It's a $60 pledge. I do talk about shipping in my videos, but I'm always talking about shipping for the continental US. So if you're somewhere else, you will want to figure out the shipping for your part of the world and make that adjustment. But in the continental US, there is about $16 of shipping on this. So we're looking at about $76 total once you've factored in the shipping. Now, this pledge is sort of the simple pledge. It is for the base game, and it comes with stretch goals. Then if we go down here, we see what is essentially they're all in. It's going to add two things onto that pledge, Savage Dust and God's Hand. Those are two expansions. So this is a $140 pledge with about $20 in shipping for about $160 total. So let's go down, let's scroll down here and see what these expansions are all about. So the first one here is Savage Dust. It's going to get you 24 new miniatures, some more terrain tiles, event cards, some cards, things like that. And then the other one, God's Hand expansion, is this mercenary mini faction, and they're revealing some of these components and miniatures as they go. They're not quite there yet. That's why it looks kind of fuzzy. But those are the two expansions that you can get if you go in for the all-in. And then down here, they're kind of just outlining what's in those two different pledges. And then we get to the add-on here is for a playmat. This is $34, they're saying here, as an add-on. However, if you go, there's also this companions and cards thing too, which they don't list as an add-on with a price, but you can actually add that on as well. So if we click on the details here, it'll give us a list of things that we can add on. So here the playmat's being listed for $33. So 33, 34, I'm going to say 33 since that's actually the figure that you would be adding on. And then there's the second add-on that's not listed in the add-on section, but it is here as an optional add-on. It is that RTS All-Star Companion Set. Get a unique set of companions homaging the glorious 90s real-time strategy times. So it is here. You can add it on. They don't kind of list the price, but if we go back over there, let's just go back down to it and take a look at what's in it. So this is the kind of stuff you're going to be getting here. In-depth look at the companions and cards, it says here. So you've got this trickster character, Tulivine. And this is what that looks like at this point in time. But there probably will be more things added to this as the campaign goes on. And then finally, Knee Deep in Hexes is slated to deliver in September of 2024. So if you were to do this all, the full scale operation all-in pledge, we said that's about $160 with shipping. And if you were to add on the other two things, the All-Star Companion Set and the playmat, because those are not included in either pledge, it would raise your total kind of for everything to about $202 in the continental US. Okay, from there, we are going to take a look at Heart of Crown's 10th anniversary. This campaign launched on February the 6th. As we can see here, it's going to run until February the 22nd. And they've got about $78,000 in funding right now off of a $25,000 funding goal. So they're at about 3 times their funding goal. Now, this is a medium-heavy anime-themed deck-building game. And because it's the 10th anniversary, we can go and look at the original game over here on Board Game Geek. First came out in 2011. It's got a 7.6 rating currently, which is pretty good. And the weight is a 2.56. Usually I say that anything over a 2.55 is a medium heavy game. So this is just barely over that line from medium light to medium heavy. They say here that it plays 2 to 4 players. Community saying it's best with 3 to 4 players. And generally plays in about a half an hour to an hour. At least that's the stated playing time. But what we're going to do is take a look at the video here for this one, and then we will take a look at the 5 pledges for this campaign.
We revisit Heart of Crown in this second edition that brings the classic deck-building card game, which has been lovingly played for the past 10 years, and refines it for everyone to continue to enjoy for more years to come. As all things that come with age, this version polishes out the game after many years of play. This includes cards receiving balance treatments to address issues with strengths and weaknesses. Some cards are removed entirely, while others are remade with new effects. The biggest update comes in the form of brand new illustrations for each of the princess cards, as well as many of the common cards. These redesigns improve each card's visibility and provide a fresh new look. And speaking of a fresh new look, we're celebrating with an all-foil, extremely limited edition of the base game. We will only be printing enough to fulfill this campaign, and then it's gone for good. Join the campaign to ensure your copy of the Jubilee Edition. Also included in this campaign is the new Heart of Crown online stream game. Backers of the campaign will get a sneak peek and will have early access to the released version. The second edition accommodates 2 to 4 players for gameplays ranging between 20 to 40 minutes, best suited for 14 years and above. Featuring hundreds of refreshed cards to play, which can be combined with the original set. Granted, duplicate cards are avoided. Grow your influence and support your desired princess you wish to ascend to the throne in this new era of the kingdom.
Okay, so any pledge that you pledge in this campaign is going to come with a Steam code for the online game. Just know that ahead of time. The first pledge that we're going to look at, though, is just for the Steam codes. So this is if you're only interested in the online game. It is a $20 pledge. There's not going to be any shipping associated with this because you're just going to be getting a code. And the estimated delivery for this code is in March 2024. However, there is currently a sale right now on Steam through February 20th where you can purchase the game for $12.50. So if you are only interested in the online game, I would recommend not doing this pledge, but going over to Steam, assuming that you have you play on PC and you're doing you have Steam. I would just go there before February 20th and buy it there for $12.50. You're going to save almost half off of this pledge. But if you're interested in a copy of the physical game, you will also be getting a Steam code. So if you're pledging anything else, don't go to Steam and purchase their game on sale because you're going to be getting a copy of the Steam code here anyway. So the first pledge here that gives you a physical copy of the game is this new Empire pledge. This is $49 plus $20 in shipping. $69 total, and this is going to come with the second edition of the base game and that online code, so the two things together. If we go down a little bit further, past the retailer tier, we've got Shiny Empire, and this is the all-foil edition that they mentioned in the video. So you're not really getting anything extra here. Actually, no, that's wrong. You are getting the expansion as well. So this comes with that all-foil copy of the base game. It's called the Jubilee Edition. You're still getting the Steam code, and then they're also throwing in the expansion, Far East Territory. This is a $99 pledge, $20 in shipping, $119 total. If we go down to the whole non-Shiny Empire, this is essentially the all-in if you don't want the foil edition of the game. So this is a $149 pledge. It's got $25 of shipping. In this pledge, you're getting the regular second edition, so no foil. You're also getting that East Territory expansion. And then in addition to that, you're getting an oversized playmat, kind of a main game playmat. You're getting 4 player playmats and then 12 acrylic standees. So those are the 3 items that are added into this when you go into the all-in. Keep in mind, though, that I believe this first edition for just the base game here does not come with the expansion. So if you're wanting the expansion, you either need to add it on to New Empire or you just need to pledge for the whole non-Shiny Empire. and then you'll be getting the expansion along with all of those playmats and the acrylic standees. Finally, if you want the kind of all-in with the all-foil Jubilee version, you're going to want to pledge the whole Empire. This one is $199 plus $25 in shipping, or $224 total. So this is going to get you everything that was coming with the whole non-shiny Empire, except instead of getting the second edition of the game, you're getting that all-foil Jubilee edition. But as with that other pledge level, you're still getting the East Territory expansion, the oversized playmat, the 4 player playmats, and the 12 acrylic standees. I think they do have some things listed in add-ons. They have additional copies of the second edition, additional copies of the Jubilee edition. This is the all-foil one. They've got the expansion here for $20 as an add-on, and they've got more online codes for $20. They've also got the playmats. So this is that big oversized limited edition playmat. This is kind of the main board where everyone's going to be playing, together. And then they've got the player playmats. This comes as a set of 4, $50 as an add-on. The oversized main board playmat is $35. And the acrylic standees, if you want to get those as an add-on, those are $25. You can also add on a metal coin set for $50. I mean, this is pretty expensive as far as metal coins go. But this metal coin set is not included in any of the pledges. So if this is something that you want, you will need to add this on to whatever pledge that you're pledging at. And then finally, they are currently slating to deliver Heart of Crown 10th anniversary in November of 2024. From there, we're going to shift gears a little bit and go to this campaign for several smaller games from Pencil First Games. This is the Nature Games trio, Sunrise, Snowfall, and Floriferous. And the 3 games that are profiled here, the first is called Snowfall Over Mountains. It's basically a very kind of cozy game. I believe it's like a solo game where you're kind of walking around and you're placing tiles out. And it feels like it's very much in the vein of another game by some of the same designers and publisher called Sunset Over Water. So instead of that theme of, sunsets and beachiness and water, sunset over water, instead they're switching it to be Snowfall Over Mountains. Sunset Over Water was also a multiplayer game. So in that kind of shift in theme, they've changed some of the design of the game and made it into a solo game. So Snowfall Over Mountains is co-designed by Eduardo Baraf and Scott Caputo and Melissa Caputo. Eduardo Baraf has also worked on such games as Floriferous, Herbaceous, and Skulk Hollow, and Scott Caputo has worked on Sorcerer City, Whistle Mountain, and Whistle Stop. And the art on Snowfall Over Mountains is by Julia Corner. The second of the games in this triptych of games is the Floriferous Pocket Edition. It's a smaller, kind of more travel-friendly version of Floriferous, which is a game that has pre-existed. So let's go take a quick look at that. It's got a 7.5 rating on Board Game Geek, which is pretty good. It is a very light game, so anything under a 2.0 weight is going to be light. And it's co-designed by Eduardo Baraf and Steve Finn, with art by Clementine Camperdew. And all of those creatives have transferred over to the new Pocket Edition. So Steve Finn, one of the co-designers, the one that I haven't mentioned previously, has also designed Biblios, Herbaceous, and Sunset Over Water. And then Clementine Camperdew has previously worked on another game from Pencil First Games called Delicious. She's also the artist for Wormspan, which everyone's talking about right now. It's the new Stonemaier game that is sort of a retheming and a redesign of Wingspan. And then the final game in this trilogy here is Sunrise at the Studio, which is a pottery creating theme game. That one's also designed by Eduardo Baraf and Steve Finn, and the artist on that one is Laura Bevan, who's worked on Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig, The King's Guild, and Sabika. And these are all pretty light games. Sunrise at the Studio is a light card game with set collection that plays 1 to 4 players. That's also true of Floriferous. So we're going to take a quick look at this very short video, and then we'll go over the 5 pledges that are available in this campaign.
Find your favorite way to appreciate the beauty of nature with 3 new games from Pencil First. Start your morning creating beautiful pottery in Sunrise at the Studio. Find the joy in crafting mugs, vases, and more. Your clay, glaze, and wheel await. Then discover the peaceful silence that fills the woods in Snowfall over mountains. Set out from your cabin to enjoy the solitude of a calm walk on a winter morning. Lastly, spend the afternoon in your Floriferous garden. Pour a cup of tea and relax while picking, pairing, and arranging flowers in this new pocket edition. Whether you're looking to craft pottery, take a walk in the woods, or explore your garden, discover our delightful and relaxing nature games.
Okay. All of these games are light, very kind of cozy, games. They shouldn't be too stressful. They should be kind of easy and fun to play. So there are a bunch of different pledges with this one. Let's take a look first at the first 3, because you've got one for each game if you're just interested in backing one of these games. The first is Snowfall Over Mountains. This is a $15 pledge with $10 in shipping, $25 total. I should also mention that all of these games come with a mini expansion. So for this pledge, you're going to be getting Snowfall Over Mountains and then the Another Winter's Day mini expansion. There's also a $15 pledge for the Floriferous Pocket Edition, also $10 shipping, so this pledge is also a $25 pledge total. And just as with the other game, it's going to come with the game itself and then a mini expansion. This one is called the Early Spring mini expansion, and they specify that it is for the Pocket Edition because there is also the same mini expansion for the larger Floriferous game. If we go down to the third pledge here, this is just for Sunrise at the Studio. This is a bit of a bigger game physically, so it's a bit heavier, a little bit more of a pledge, $25, $12 in shipping, $37 total. And with this one, you're going to be getting the base game and then the Potter Specialties mini expansion. Now, before we go further to look at, the kind of bundle pledges, let's just go back up to the top because I realized I didn't do this at the beginning of looking at this campaign. But this one was also a February the 6th launch. This campaign is going to run until February the 23rd, and they're currently funded for about $38,000 off of a $20,000 funding goal. So a little bit less than 2 times that funding goal, but they are solidly funded. Okay, if we go back down here to look at some of the bundles that are available, we've got the Nature Games Trio. So this is all 3 games with all 3 mini expansions. It's a $50 bundle with $14 in shipping for $64 total. Now, when you keep in mind that the other games were, $25 just for one of the smaller games, or let's say Sunrise at the Studio was $37. So if we combined Sunrise at the Studio with either of the other games, it would be $37 plus $25, which would be $62, which means that for this price, you're basically getting Sunrise at the Studio, and then you're getting the other 2 games, one for essentially 50% off and one for free. So this is a very good bundled price. If you had pledged each of those separately, it would have been an $87 pledge and you're getting everything for $50. Well, $64 once we add in the shipping. Finally, we've got this Pencil First Games bundle. So this is going to get you everything in the previous bundle plus 2 additional Pencil First games and those games mini expansions. So the 2 games that have been added in here are the Herbaceous Pocket Edition and the Sunset Over Water Pocket Edition. And again, both of those games are pocket editions of games that have previously existed. Also, if we go, let's see, I don't know if they have an add-on section. It doesn't, there they do, right here. So there are other games that you can add on, and that includes the Herbaceous Pocket Edition and the Sunset Over Water Pocket Edition, as well as additional copies of the first 3 games. And if we go over here into the details section, And we scroll down, we can see that when you're adding stuff on, the additional prices for those add-ons is similar to the pledges for the other games. So the Herbaceous Pocket Edition is $15. The Sunset Over Water Pocket Edition is $15, just like the Snowfall Over Mountains and Floriferous Pocket Edition were. And again, both of these games do come with a mini expansion. So if you don't want to get the Pencil First Games bundle and get everything, if you just want one of these games, maybe you don't even want all 3 of the new games in this campaign, you could pledge at a lesser pledge rate and then add these on for $15 each plus some additional shipping. And then finally, this whole campaign is planning on delivering in March 2025. That's a little bit further out than some of the other campaigns that we've been looking at today. This one's, going to be about a year until it delivers, a little bit more. Now from here, we're going to go over and look at the Stefan Feld City Collection, Nassau and Kathmandu. What's interesting is that Queen Games has been around for a long time, but they are a very tiny kind of family-owned publisher. And I don't think that a lot of people realize that or understand that. So some of their games still have this look to them in the art and the design of, a decade or two ago. That kind of Eurogame feel from maybe the early aughts. They're still kind of working that look a little bit in a lot of their games. But they publish a lot of really, really good games. And even though people think, oh my gosh, they're Queen Games, they're this huge behemoth of a publisher that's been around for a while, that's not really true. They're a very, very small publisher, a family-run outfit. And I've seen a little bit of anger in social media that their Stefan Feld City Collection is getting pretty expensive and that the pledges are pretty expensive. And I think you just need to understand that they are a smaller outfit and they are trying to price in anything that could go wrong, from the forefront. So if you don't like it, don't back it. There are also classic versions of the games that are a little bit cheaper than some of the deluxe versions that are offered. And you may eventually be able to find these at retail. But I think Queen Games is doing their due diligence and being responsible up front. So while people may be a little bit unhappy about the prices, I don't think you're going to see what's happened with something like Mythic Games, where they're trying to get you this deal that looks maybe too good to be true, and then they're just not delivering, or they're asking for shipping 3-4 times and then going out of business. So I think Queen Games is actually being responsible and pricing things the way that they are, but I admit that, it is a little bit on the pricey side and it may be out of some people's reach. And I would just say, if that's the case for you, just try to look for it at retail. Now, Kathmandu is completely a new game. It's a new design. Nassau is somewhat related to Rum and Pirates, which is a very early Feld game. And it's not as complex as a lot of his other games. But I've also read that Nassau is simply taking 1 or 2 mechanics from Rum and Pirates, and there is a lot of complexity in Nassau that wasn't in Rum and Pirates. So it's not just a retheming and a reprinting. There's a whole lot of redesigning that's going on. I suppose maybe you could compare it to something like Garphill's recent Shipwrights of the North Sea Redux, where they actually went back and completely redesigned that game so it doesn't really resemble the old Shipwrights at all. Things to be aware of. Now, as far as Stefan Feld, the designer, goes, he's probably best known for Bruges, Bonfire, Bora Bora, the Castles of Burgundy, and Trajan. And Nassau is a dice rolling and set collection game with art from Clemens Franz. He's probably best known for Agricola, Caverna, Clans of Caledonia, Le Havre, and Orléans. And then Kathmandu is also a dice rolling and set collection game, but it has more of a race element to it. And that game has art from Patricia Limburger, who's best known for Alhambra, Amsterdam, and Marrakesh, some other Stefan Feld games in the City Collection, as well as from Lucas Sigmund, who's worked on Age of Innovation, Hallertau, and the most recent edition of the Princes of Florence. Now, there is no video at the top for us to look at. And I don't really want to go and show you videos from other content creators. That doesn't always work out so well, but I am okay showing you the videos that are on this page from Queen Games themselves, because they've been put together and designed specifically for this campaign. So I don't think that they could really have a problem with me showing this video within my video. So we're going to take a look at two videos, one that profiles Nassau and then one that profiles Kathmandu. Together, it's going to be a little bit longer than most videos I show you because I'm doing two. But after that is done, we will take a look at the 10 pledges for this campaign because there are a bunch of bundles.
Hello everyone, I'd like to show you Nassau, game number 7 of the Stefan Feld City collection. Every player represents a pirate crew, embarking on many adventures, telling stories and trying to score the most points. Nassau is played over 4 rounds, with 3 phases each. At the beginning of the first phase, the pirate captain stands on his starting space. Several lanes branch off from there, leading to another square with a symbol. To obtain equipment or sailors, you must move the pirate captain from his starting space to an adjacent space. To move the pirate captain from one space to the next, place one of your pirates from your supply on each space of the selected lane. Then move the pirate captain to the new space at the end of this lane. You now receive the printed equipment or sailor from the space where the pirate captain is standing. If you no longer have enough pirates to move the pirate captain to a new space, or you no longer wish to do so, then you pass. Then you place your pirate ship on a select pier on the Caribbean game board and receive the reward shown there. Once all players have passed, the second phase begins. At the start of your turn, you must always pay 1 provision. You can then move your ship and perform 1 action. You can move your ship as many spaces as a smaller number of your sails or sailors. However, there is a kraken in a space, you must end your movement earlier. You can then perform one of the following actions. Fight an opponent at sea, occupy an outpost, occupy a watchtower, capture 1 good from a trading post, meet the old sea bear, or take 1 sailor's yarn card. As soon as you no longer wish to perform an action, you pass, and can hide goods in exchange for gold and play sailor's yarn cards at the campfire in exchange for rum. Then place your pirate ship on your shipboard. Once all the pirate ships are back, the third phase begins. Now you compare the sailor yarn cards you have played. The highest total is worth 5 points. If you have not played any sailor yarn cards, you lose 5 points. The game ends after the 4th round with a final scoring. Here you gain additional points for your goods, weapons, defeated opponents, and your occupied watchtowers. The player with the most points wins. For more information, look here on the page. Thank you for watching.
Okay, so it's not a super flashy video, but I think it's actually pretty good at getting the gameplay and the information across, enough for you to decide if that is a game for you or not. And we're going to also look at a similar video for Kathmandu, just so that you can decide if these are the right games for you, if these are games that you want to back. Okay, scrolling down, here we go, gameplay. They've got some GIFs in there if you want to explore the page more. They kind of go over gameplay, but here is that other similar video for Kathmandu.
Hello everyone, I'd like to show you Kathmandu, game number 8 in the Stefan Feld City collection. You lead an expedition and discover the diverse landscape of Nepal, its cities, temples, and finally Kathmandu. Kathmandu is played over several rounds. On your turn, you can use one of your 6 dice. You receive the matching resource according to the color of the dice and then move your pawn that many spaces in a straight line based on the number of pips on the dice. If you move in the direction of the red compass needle, you have to discard a compass resource. If you cross a boundary strip, you must discard 1 yak food resource. Then check whether the yak tile matches the landscape, city or temple of the target space. If it does, you may flip the next tile over. The more tiles you have completed at the end, the more points you receive. Now check whether there are any face-up animal and/or equipment cards in the same landscape as the target space. If so, you may take one of these cards for the specific resource and place it on your game board. You can use equipment cards as additional actions during your turn, while animal cards earn you points at the end of the game. On city spaces, you can buy goods for coins, and on temple spaces, you receive a treasure card in exchange for a temple fee. Both generate victory points. The next player in clockwise order takes their turn, and as soon as everyone made 3 turns, the round ends. At the end of the current round, a weather tile is turned over and the storm marker comes into the play or moved into the next boundary strip. If one or more pawns are now behind the storm marker, each of these pawns receive 1 exhaustion marker. If you have 3 exhaustion markers, you may only use the first dice to take a resource of a matching color, but you may not use it to move your pawn. After the 3rd turn in the last round, the game ends. The player with the most points wins the game. For more information, look on this page. Thank you for watching.
So I don't know about you, but to me, it feels like this is a little bit Stefan Feld's answer to Reiner Knizia's The Quest for El Dorado, which also has that kind of race element across a modular board, and you're doing a few other things as well. But I definitely think that both of those games have some merit and worth to them. I have seen people dismissing Nassau a little bit because they're like, oh, it's just rum and pirates, but it's not. Okay, so let's take a look at these 10 different pledges here. First up, we've got Kathmandu Classic. This is a $79 pledge with $24 in shipping, $103 total. Same deal for Nassau Classic, $79 pledge, $24 shipping, $103 in total. Then we've got the deluxe versions of the game. These are, again, similar pledges. So if you want Nassau Deluxe, $129, $26 in shipping, $155 total. Same deal for Kathmandu Deluxe, $129, $26 in shipping, $155 total. Then we've got bundles. So you've got a bundle of the 2 classic versions of the game, $149, $38 shipping, $187 total. And you've got a bundle for the 2 deluxe versions of the game, $255 with $48 in shipping, or $303 total. Before we go further, let's go back and just see the kind of differences between deluxe and classic. So if we go up here, the Nassau content difference between deluxe and classic. So with deluxe, you've got this kind of artwork and box size. With the classic, you've got a different one. So if you're getting the deluxe, you've got basically a box sleeve that will go over it. There is also a collectible sticker, a printed signature, and then the more important things here. There's an eco-friendly storage solution. This is similar to what they did for their last 2 games. I think before that, they'd been doing game trays, and then with the last 2 games they delivered, it was more of a kind of modular cardboard box system, which actually works pretty well. So that's what's coming with the deluxe, and then with the classic, you've got kind of even more generic storage boxes. And in the deluxe version, you've got printed acrylic pirates, whereas in the classic version, you've just got wooden. Same for the pirate captain, and the same for all of the resources. So you're going to have all of these 80 equipment resources. In the deluxe game will be acrylic, and in the base game, just probably cardboard tokens. So that's essentially the difference. And then if we go down to Kathmandu, similar, right? So again, if you do the deluxe, you're going to get this different kind of box. You're also going to get a box sleeve for it. You're also going to get this collectible sticker that you can put on the side. It's numbered for your copy of the game, along with Stefan Feld's signature, as well as this, kind of extra sheet with his signature. And then we get to the real kind of differences, the two different storage solutions, and then the upgrade in resource tokens and goods tokens and trophy tiles, all to acrylic in the deluxe version, probably all cardboard in the classic version. So that's really the difference between the two games. And that said, let's leave this on add-ons over here, and let's go over and look at the remaining pledges. So we've got some bundles here. There's a bundle that includes Nassau and Kathmandu and Marrakesh. These are all the deluxe editions. This is a $379 pledge with $72 in shipping, $451 total. We've got this pledge that includes the two previous games, so Cusco and Vienna, again, all deluxe, $495 pledge with $72 in shipping, $567 total. We're getting expensive, but we're starting to throw in a lot of games. Now, if you want the entire collection and you want to go with the cheap stripped down versions, you can get all 8 of these games plus this Camels and Nomads expansion for Marrakesh. This is a $599 pledge with $120 in shipping, or $719 total. And if you want the deluxe version of everything, you're still getting, there is no deluxe version for Nomads and Camels, so it comes in this box, and then hopefully you can incorporate it into your bigger box. But this pledge also comes with a set of generic Stefan Feld City Collection coins. So for this pledge, you're looking at $999 with $130 shipping, or $1,129 total. There's also a real limit on this. There's only 50 of these, and there's 35 left. So there is an opportunity here. Not a lot of people are, going this far in, but if you want to do it, there is still some time. There are some copies left. Now, they do mention here that all of these items will be available as add-ons in the Pledge Manager. They're just not available now. There are a couple of early bird prices that are now gone. This was for, the deluxe. You could check in from time to time because it's possible that someone could abandon this pledge and then it could be available again, but that is a waiting game, and the non-early bird version of this, which we already looked at earlier, is $10 more. So it's not a terrible price hike, and you definitely, if you're interested in the games, you definitely want to pledge them. I wouldn't wait for this to become available again because it may not, but if you're really trying to save $10, you could, keep your eye on this and see if it reappears at any point. But regardless, all of these games, all of these coin sets, you got the classic versions, you got the deluxe versions, all of this stuff will be available in the Pledge Manager. You just can't add it on right now. Though there will also be a free add-on level for Marrakesh, just this tower tile, which you can just add on in the Pledge Manager. But this is the coin set that is included in this deluxe all-in. That's right here. So this is kind of a generic set of metal coins that you could use with any of these games. And if you have all of them, you could just kind of take them around and use them from game to game whenever you play it. But they do also have coin sets that are designed specifically for each game. These coin sets are very expensive. I think they're at least $50. There probably won't be that many people that want to get all of the coin sets, right? But if you did, or if there's one specifically that you were interested in, you can add all this stuff on. I just want to let you know going into the Pledge Manager that the prices for these coin sets is not cheap. So just be aware of that and expect it. And then finally, this new Stefan Feld City Collection is planning to deliver in October of 2024. All right, from there we're going to go to our final campaign of the video. It is for Trailblazer, the Arizona Trail. This was also a February 6th launch, and this campaign is going to run until March the 8th. They've currently got about $85,000 in funding. That's off of a $20,000 funding goal, so they're about 4 times that funding goal, a little bit more. Now, this is a new game from the team that brought us Trailblazer, the John Muir Trail. So this one right now has been out for a year or so. Came out in 2023. It's got a 7.8 rating, which is pretty darn good. And the weight is coming in at a 2.74, which is medium heavy. It's also designed for 1 to 4 players, and the community is saying that it plays best at 2 to 3. Now, this game, the John Muir Trail, and the new game were both designed by Dan Rice and his company Mariposa Games, but this game, the John Muir Trail, was basically their first game. So all we have to judge whether we think the new game is going to be good or not on is this game, which has a pretty good rating. And they're not reinventing the wheel. They're not doing a completely different kind of game. They're doing a new type of game with the same mechanics and a slightly different theme, right? It's themed around Arizona instead of the John Muir hike. And Andrew Bosley is also returning as the artist for the Arizona Trail. John Merchant is not. Andrew Bosley is probably best known to people for Everdell, Mission Red Planet, the 2nd edition, and Tapestry. So both of these games are worker placement with set collection. They've got point-to-point movement. We're going to take a very quick look at this short video, and then we'll go over the 3 pledges that are available and the add-ons. Okay, so you got to look at the components there. And if you want to figure out if the gameplay is right for you, there are plenty of videos on the John Muir Trail, and those are going to be pretty applicable to this one. There are going to be some changes, but like I said, it's not a completely different game, sort of a reinvention. So we got 3 different pledges that you could back with this campaign. The first is for Trailblazer, the Arizona Trail. This is a $49 pledge with $20 in shipping, or $69 total. This is going to get you the base version of the game, the stripped down version of the game. If you'd like to pledge the deluxe version, this is a $69 pledge with $20 in shipping, $89 total. And the 2 things that this is adding on are 6 miniatures and dual layer player boards. Let's see if there are other upgrades as well. So here we got what's in the box, and this is going to be the regular version of the game. And let's see if they show you what's in the deluxe version. So, okay, in the deluxe edition, you're going to get all linen cards, a linen rule book, solo mode, that's in both versions. Screen printed meeples in both versions. So it's really just the linen cards and the linen rule book, and then the dual layer player boards and these miniatures. So that's what you add on when you go up to the deluxe version, and it is a $20 difference. So you just have to decide if the linen cards, the linen rule book, the miniatures, and the dual layer player boards are worth a $20 increase. For me, I would say yes. And then we've got a final pledge here. It is the Trailblazer bundle. So this will get you the deluxe version of the new game, and it will also get you the retail version of the previous game, the John Muir Trail. This is a $109 bundle with $20 in shipping, or $129 total. Now, there are some additional things here that are not included in any of these pledge levels. We've got an upgraded neoprene game mat. This is for the Arizona Trail, as you can see from the artwork. So this is $25 as an add-on. You can also add on additional copies of the old game, the John Muir Trail. And then they've got an upgrade for the John Muir Trail. So if you want the deluxe version, you need to not only back the retail version here, you need to back the upgrade kit. And if you have the retail version previously, you could back the upgrade kit and then upgrade your retail version to the deluxe version. And that includes all of these things. So wooden track tokens, this variable skills deck, some more map packs, this mini expansion and these mission deck cards. There is also an upgraded first player miniature token. This is for the John Muir version. This needs to be added on as well if you want this. And also a hiking card pack. And this is different from anything in the upgrade pack. So again, if you want this, you need to add this on. Now, there's also one thing that they don't actually show you here. There is also a neoprene mat you could get for the John Muir Trail. Now, while it's not listed here in the add-ons, if you go to one of the pledges and click on details, you'll see it listed there. I don't know why they left it off of the other one, but they did. So here are all the other add-ons that we were looking at. There is the Arizona Trail playmat. This is a $25 add-on. But they've also got a Trailblazer John Muir Trail playmat. And this one is a little more than the Arizona Trail playmat. This is a $35 add-on. But it is there, it does exist, you can add it on, even though it's not listed in the add-on section. And then finally, Trailblazer, the Arizona Trail, is slated to deliver in November of 2024. Let me just double check this. Okay, retailers are getting it in December, so if all works out well, you should be getting it before the retailers get their pledge. And that concludes the video for this week. So thank you very much for joining me, spending a little time looking over what I think are the best campaigns that launched over the last week and your best bet as a backer. In terms of next week's video, there are a few campaigns I'd like to cover. One of them is Conservice, which is from Salt and Pepper Games. Another one is Cookie Champion. They are the team behind Rococo. And this is coming from Eagle Griffin Games, who are also the publisher of Rococo Deluxe. The campaign right now is on Game Fund, but it's not really doing very well in funding. And when I get to shoot next week's video, it looks like that campaign is not going to fund, then I will not include it. I only include campaigns that are already funded or are close enough to the funding goal that it's pretty assured that they will fund. And then I will also be taking a look at A Song of Fire and Ice Tactics, which is the new Game of Thrones themed game from CMON. So certainly that one will fund, and I'll be covering that. Beyond those three games, we'll have to see what launches over the next couple days, especially on Tuesday, which is the big launch day. I have been kind of playing catch up a bit over the last several weeks. These videos have come out a day or two later than I would like. I'm doing a little behind the scenes work, trying to get my upstairs studio ready so I can put out teach and review videos once again and live stream games, but it has been biting into my production time a bit. I am hoping that with next week's video, we'll be out the day that they normally should be out, which is Friday. So come back on Friday. Hopefully the next video will be up. If not, it'll probably hit over the weekend. In the meantime, I hope you have a great week. Play lots of great games. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you very soon in the next one.